Good evening. Welcome to Let's Talk RC with RC Basherboi and myself, JMH RC. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday. It's going to be open to Let's Talk RC panel tonight. Be posting the link. Let's see here. Trying to get RC Basherboi the right link here. May have try to get him on. So I hope everybody's having a good Saturday. Having a pretty good one here. Excited for tomorrow to do some crawling, some testing with my 6x6 with the Fusion system in it, because I have not got the opportunity to. Even some bashing with my Traxxas Max. And some other rigs hopefully as well. Got some testing in with one of my drag cars today. Got a new personal best. So good weekend so far. And I went and seen a movie last night with my son, saw New Snake Eyes. Enjoyed that. So I do have the link posted in the chat if you want to join the panel tonight. You're welcome to do so. And I think we have a question for tonight as well to ask people. Wait for Gabe to get on here. I think we're having a little technical difficulties with getting on the panel for some reason. Oh, there he is.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Yourself?
Doing good, thank you.
Awesome.
So is that the lights on the new Wraith?
Yeah. I was gonna see if people, would want to guess what that is, but I guess it's
oh, sorry,
a given, right?
I took it.
But yeah, it's the Wraith, the lights and everything. So there, let me set up here really quick. There you go. All right. Yeah, I figured I'd start like this. And actually, I was looking at it, here at the image that we're, live streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, what's under the T-shirt. Because honestly, right? You only see the lines, but you don't see the rest of the vehicle. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So
that's
yeah, you're correct.
I've got a few rigs with lights on. I could always take some pictures of and see if people guess. It's a interesting concept. I have to try it out.
Yeah, of course, man. Definitely. And I figured, I would just go with the lights out here in just a bit, see if people can guess it. But you got it right off the bat.
And looks like KB's joining.
Hey, Keith. What it's up?
He's not here yet. He'll be over in a second.
No problem. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. So what it's up, my friend? What's the word? What have you been up to?
Did a little testing with my drag DR10 today. Got a new personal best with it, so happy about that. And looking forward to tomorrow. I'm actually going to the Exoplex Exo Caged RC's course to do some testing with my a few of my rigs actually. So looking forward to going out there and having some fun.
Interesting. That's cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's been a good weekend so far. Me and my son went and seen the new Snake Eyes movie last night. And,
Oh yeah.
Yep. And been actually watching since yesterday afternoon, and through today. We just paused it right before this started. We've been watching all the Transformers in order. So
in order.
yeah.
That's cool. How many movies are there, man? I think that I remember was
5.
like 2, 5.
5. Yep. We're on number 4 right now. Almost at the end of number 4.
Oh, okay.
Looks like Dennis is joining.
Hey, Dennis. Good evening.
So, Gabe, you had a question, right, that you're gonna ask people?
Yeah, definitely. And since you already know what this vehicle is, this is the Axial Wraith 1.9. I just decided to I guess show off the lights here and there. I'll just turn on the lights here in just a bit. But the question is, there's a bunch of rigs from Axial Racing. Now, I just want to ask the audience, people on the panel, what is your favorite vehicle, from Axial Racing? So do you have any favorites, John?
I mean, right now I would have to say, I guess I sort of own 2 Axials, but really it's one. I don't have a lot of experience with Axials. So the 6x6 is currently, I have to say, it would be my favorite Axial rig, and I own that. So I have experience with that, especially with just a couple mods. It's really impressed me quite a bit.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be that because that's what I have experience with.
And you see, the thing with that vehicle is that Axial discontinued that rig fast. I don't know if you're aware of that, but
Correct.
I was considering a 6x6, from Axial, and next thing you know, Axial just decided to say, "Hey, that's it, no more."
Yeah. But
So,
in
now,
stock form, it's okay.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of the ready to run rigs, their servos aren't that great, and motors and ESCs are sometimes questionable. I've put a servo in it. The tires on the 6x6 on the Unimog 6x6, the tires are great scale look, especially for an Army style vehicle, but aren't really that great. Especially if you're actually crawling, it's not all that great. I've put some good tires on there, and the tires really transformed that machine dramatically. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow and really seeing how this thing crawls with the fusion system in there. I'm really expecting it to transform it even more. So
awesome, man.
Do they,
good
they still
Hey,
make
Dennis,
a
you made it.
Unimog? Yeah, here he is.
what was that, KB?
Are they still make? I know that they don't make the 6x6 anymore, but are they still making the Unimog?
100%. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That I
believe they
recall,
discontinued
I
the
don't think
deadbolt, too.
they're yeah.
I think you can still get the Unimog. You just have to look to see who's got them in stock still.
Yeah.
So Paul
was
Pittman,
gonna
welcome.
get the-
Brian Taff, welcome. Brian says Capra for crawling, Bomber for bashing, and you know what, Brian, that's a good call out.
Spot on.
I may actually have to change. Even though I don't own a Capra, I've got to play with a couple Capras, and you know what, the Capra probably would be my favorite. And I've never owned one, but the little bit that I've got to play and seeing other people drive them, they're a pretty capable rig. So yeah, I may change that from 6x6 to Capra. I do want to own a Capra one day. So good call out, Brian.
Yeah, awesome, man. And then he also stated that the old
JMH, I
reliable,
got your
the
stuff.
SCX-10-2 and the Cherokee. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the 10-2s have been popular. I mean, in kits and builds. I mean, people have been building those for some time. I've personally never had one myself, but they're definitely popular rigs to build.
I kind
That's
of
what
own
I
a
got.
10-2.
10-2.
Yeah, I also I
Well,
got
you own
it,
the
the 10-2,
Poncho,
which
right?
is the Axial Wraith 1.9. So technically, it is a 10-2.
Yeah.
So, and that's what
I
you
Well,
thought
see
you
in
got the
front of you.
Honcho too, right, Basherboi? You got a Honcho,
Yes,
right?
that's the first gen.
That's a
Yes,
10.
that's correct.
Oh, it's the first gen. All right. Yeah. So I got a second gen Honcho and the Jeep Cherokee.
Awesome, man. So, and then I don't know if you heard the question. I guess I'll ask you, Keith. From Axial Racing, what is your best model from that company?
It's probably the Honcho, even though
The
I don't
Honcho?
have the same cup. Yeah, I don't have the same top on it, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the
And
That's
Dennis,
best
the
what
one
one I
that
about
got
I've
you?
got,
Dan on.
my best one is probably my 10-2, my first kit, my original 10-2. And then
Okay.
I've got my original SCX-10 right here that really doesn't get any much runtime right now. But that's going to change tomorrow. It's going to go up.
Nice.
Does that got the Jeep body on it?
Yeah, it's got the old Rubicon body that they put on back in the day.
Yeah, that's a nice body.
So Paul Pittman asked, where are we located? Where are we transmitting from? So Paul, myself, I am from Northeast Florida, St. Augustine, Jacksonville area. I know that RC Basherboi is from Texas. I just forgot exactly what part of Texas.
West Texas, El
Okay.
Paso, Texas.
And KB, you're in Texas too, right?
Yeah, outside of Austin, Texas.
And Dennis, you're in Ohio, right?
Yes,
Yep.
Northeastern Ohio.
There. So I know Sean's RC Adventures from New York.
JMH, I have
Yeah.
received your care package.
You did get it?
Duckman, yeah, Duckman's happy.
Okay. Have you put
Did you
it?
relieve?
Have you painted it or done anything with it yet?
No, not yet.
All right. I look forward to seeing once you get it done.
Yeah, I'll probably make a short, doing some short videos.
Gotcha. So Paul's from South Carolina. Very nice.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. And
Nice. He's right around Brian Taft. Brian Taft's from North Carolina, if I remember right.
we got Barbecue Altered RC. He's from Florida. I think he's a couple hours south of me, I think. Good evening, Kevin. Welcome.
Hey, Kevin Gibbs. Good evening.
Hey,
I don't know if anybody else has watched Big Head RC, but he's from South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. He goes live randomly. I've stopped a few live streams here and there. Pretty cool, man. Yeah, awesome place to hang out too. Definitely.
Brian Taft's in Durham, North Carolina. Very nice.
So, gentlemen, back to this Axial question. Since we all named our favorite rigs from Axial, now let's go a little bit further and see if we can name every single vehicle that Axial has made. You think we can, I guess, name them all?
I know I can't.
yeah, no.
No. So
I
I
might be
know.
able to name
Well,
a couple.
I guess one of their first crawlers, if I'm not mistaken. It was like the AX something. I think it was like an AX10, something like that, right? Yeah.
That used to be one of their competition crawlers.
Yeah. So and I know for sure that was the AX10, and then the SCX10, which technically my SCX10 is like the first gen, but the second generation, based on the body. The first gen, it was just an all green body that came with it, and then they just released that new old body, I guess, the one that's my colored based, which is like green with, well, not green, I'm sorry, gray with like green and black and stuff. So, oh, look at that. Paul Pittman, he says XR10, AX10, and XO. Well, okay, so that is, the XO was a buggy. It's a 4-wheel drive buggy. And the rest are just crawlers. And see, look, Bobby Q, he's got the Yeti score. Anybody like here the Yeti score? I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the truck, but anybody liked it, I guess, when it came out? You do?
I've got one. I love it. Oh, yeah.
So what's your take on that? You like it?
Oh, I love it.
There it is. Yeah, it's green.
It needs a little bit more power. I mean, for the platform that they said it is, it should have a little bit more power to it, or different gearing.
Yeah.
I mean, but it really works nice. I mean, I've taken it a few different places and tried video in slow motion for the suspension work on it, and it was kind of hard with the phone that I had before, but I'm going to try it again. I like it. I mean,
it's like a
I
stadium
had dogs
truck.
chasing it, so
Yeah, it's more of a trophy truck, if I'm not mistaken.
Trophy truck.
yeah, it's a trophy truck for like the Baja 500. It's got a solid axle on the back, independent suspension in the front, sway bar. It's close to a 1/8 scale size, but they're calling it a 1/10 scale because of the wheel size. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good piece of history from them. I mean, they should have kept it going. They should have kept it going with the kit, but they didn't have a lot of people interested in it, I guess.
And I was gonna ask you, so what came first? Did the kit come in first, and then the ready to run, or the other way around?
It was the ready to run, and then it was short after that, the kit came right out.
What
And
year was
if
that?
I'm not mistaken, 2015 maybe.
2015.
My guess. I don't know if Dennis would agree.
I want to say late 15, early 16.
Okay.
I know I've had it
And
a
yeah,
while.
the way they advertised the Yeti score, the kit, it was just white with just decals just here and there, and then the ready to run, it was just that the flat green, that I remember. And see, the thing is, the funny thing is that when that was released, Losi came up with their generalized Baja rate. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, but so Axial came out their version of the trophy truck, and then like months later, Losi came out, with their version of a trophy truck. This is the Baja Ray.
Right.
You would get those in red and white or blue and white, I think it was. And honestly, for the buck and for what it was worth, I could have gone, with the Losi, but I just got a Rock Ray, honestly, But the Baja Ray, when they came out, it was the competition to that. So
that axial car RC we're talking about right now is like the answer to the Traxxas Stampede. I mean, not Stampede, but Slash.
Slash, yeah. It's yeah. Mm-hmm. In comparison, I think the slash might be bigger. Because I think Dennis is the score, what, a 1/8 as well?
It's shy of being a 1/8, but they classed it as a 1/10,
Yeah.
if I remember right. You know what? Let me measure the wheelbase.
Sure.
Altered RC says the kit was an older body style, not the same as the RTR score body.
Oh, so there were
Yeah, the
differences.
wheelbase
Okay.
on it was 14 inches. Axle to axle, 14 inches on it, so it's just shy of being eighth scale.
I thought
mean,
it was an
I've
8
been-
scale.
You know what? Me.
And again, don't quote me on that. I'm just, hey, I mean,
No,
your
no.
answer could be is right, but
I'm for some reason I'm saying that they had it listed as a 1/10 when I bought it.
yeah.
Probably find the book hanging, but
So Paul Pittman said, I think if Axial released the score TT, it would do better now than it actually did.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and see, the thing is that I remember what the score was. It's more of a plastic vehicle, but then again, it's just one of those things that I guess it's much easier to replace than more than anything else. But one thing that I remember was that not all of the parts were available, and I don't know if Dennis can say otherwise, but that's what I would recall, as far as that, score.
no,
Dennis, how many times have you broken down? Let's just ask him that.
none. Believe it or not, none.
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 So it's it's solid, huh? Wow.
It's taking a beating. I've ran it on the beach. I've ran it on rock. I've ran it on a asphalt track. All right. Axial says it is a 1/10 scale.
Interesting. Okay. I literally thought it was a 1/8.
It's just shy.
And let me tell you why I think it's a 1/8. So obviously you guys know what my favorite vehicle is, right? The Glamisphere. The Glamisphere is a true 1/8 scale buggy. I did measure the score and the Fear right next to each other, and they measured the same. So
Well, right below
like
mine
you said,
on the
it might
bottom
be shy.
on the bottom shelf where my Yeti's sitting, I have an 8 scale Kyosho Truggy, and the wheelbase is just a hair longer than that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't understand why they put it in a 1/10 scale class when there is some 1/8 scale it's just as big, if not bigger.
Because I guess they remember that
It could be
they base the scales based out of a 101 base, So who knows? Honestly, I don't even know the answer to that. But
So something you made me think about. Obviously, it's not produced anymore. It didn't stay active too terribly long. It don't sound like the Unimog 6x6. Didn't stay in production that long. From my point of view, it seems like Axial. You could say good job, bad job, depending on what view you see it from. I'm saying good job of putting products out there and then, stopping production and coming out with a new product, so to speak, to replace it. I'm curious what y'all's point of view on that is. Because from my point of view with Traxxas, I mean, the TRX4, it is a great platform, but how many different body TRX4s are they going to make? In my opinion, it's time for stop making a TRX4 and make something else to replace it. you know, and just stop putting a new body on it, even though the bodies are cool.
Yeah.
You know, let's get a new rig, so to speak. I don't know. Y'all have opinions on that?
I do.
Okay.
So my my opinion on that is companies in general, okay, not just Axial, you know, all of the Horizon Hobby, you know, products that you can see available, they discontinue models so quickly that give it about 6-7 years, and that vehicle, no matter how long you use it, that vehicle will become a paperweight, you know, over the years. Why? Because replacement parts will be, you know, a scarce resource. You will not find replacement parts anywhere unless you have a good stock there at the local hobby shop or eBay or anywhere, right? But it will get to the point that a vehicle gets discontinued. You will still be using it. You will still be replacing parts, but those parts, since they're no longer produced, you know, you will run out of replacement parts, you know, from one day to another. So, and look, my Glamisphere is already a paperweight. Okay, I still use them, you know, cautiously, and it breaks my heart that I cannot bash them like I used to because, again, you know, I can't find parts for it. That is the scenario that you will get with a discontinued model. You'll be lucky to find parts online, you know, local hobby shop. But overall, you know, it's one of those things, man, that Traxxas, no matter how they do it, the TRX4 still continues. I mean, you can still break, bash. You can just go to any local hobby shop. Parts are there, or you know, you go online, parts are already there. And of course, you know, we're living in a times where there's nothing available right now, right? But in a perfect world, you know, per se, you know, if you looking for a part, especially like a TRX4 or whatever, you know, chances are you will find it. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, very good. I understand that point. KB, Kevin Gibbs said, can you give your address to Dennis so he can pass it along to him on Facebook Messenger? Paul says Traxxas ain't going to do that. They still sell and, more importantly, market. And I agree with you, Paul. I've actually heard it from somebody recently that's exactly what Traxxas said was they're still selling. It's our, you know, most popular item. And obviously, I get that part. I get the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it side of things. And the TRX is a great platform. So I you know, totally get that. You know, even if they're going to continue to sell it, it'd still be nice if they still come out with something new besides TRX. You know, have a class 1 oriented straight axle maybe or something. But
They're all portal axles, right? The TRX. Well, no,
Yep.
the Sport ain't. Is the Sport?
Yep.
Yep, Sports Portal.
Really?
Every TRX4 model is portal axle. The only thing is, I guess I do kind of get where they're going with this, but the only thing is, why do they lengthen, they shorten their wheelbase, you know, from each model? I know that the Sport, that's the vehicle with the shortest wheelbase. The Defender it's a freaking limousine. You know, even the Bronco and the Blazer, they're the same wheelbase, but I don't know. Couldn't they just say, you know what, let's just make all these vehicles in just one certain wheelbase? Because let me tell you this, man, because there are bodies out there that some people may like it, right? But you really, really have to look at your wheelbase of, you know, whatever chassis that you're going to put that body on. You got to look at your wheelbase first before you pull the trigger on whichever body you want to put on a TRX4. What I'm trying to say is, let's say if I own the TRX4 Sport, okay, I cannot put the body of the Defender on a Sport. Why? Because, you know, the wheelbase is off, right? So in order to lengthen your your chassis, you got to buy links. There's a kit that you can actually buy from Traxxas, okay, in order for you to do that. And then again, I mean, I'm not too sure what you have to do, to lengthen your wheelbase, but I guess, I don't know, it's one of those things that I guess Axel did do a good job as far as making money, because even just modifying a different body to your vehicle, it costs money. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? But
at least
yeah.
with Axial, you've got a wide variety of body choices.
Exactly.
Traxxas, you're limited because of the wheelbase. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about the Traxxas. It's just there's too many variables to go through just to change to a body that you want.
Correct. Yep.
You know,
that's exactly right.
I mean,
that's my whole point.
A lot of guys were looking for the Dodge Power Wagon body for that, and as soon as they found it, they're out of stock because they only have so many of them. The Dodge Power Wagon body, there's an abundant supply of for the 10.2s because there's more 10.2s that are being used for competition than the Traxxas. Or a lot of guys are using more of the 10.2s just for, customizing as far as, different era body styles on them or making them look like they're one-to-one.
Yeah. So I guess that's also a con, from Traxxas, that their TRX4s just have all of these variables of wheelbases. And it does drive me nuts because you cannot say that the Sport is the same thing as the Defender. Because relatively it is the same chassis, but they don't measure the same. It's, I don't know. But I do get why they did that, But I guess, it is what it is, right? I shut off my vehicle here shortly.
It's kind of like back in the day when I was racing off-road. Back in the day when I ran off-road, you had HPI, Traxxas, and Losi. When you wanted to change your body over from the stock body on your Savage, you really didn't have much of a choice, so you'd try to modify from what Traxxas had for their T-Max.
Yeah,
At least you could have done is clean that off before you put it on your bed.
Yeah, man, it's super dirty, actually. And these are new bed sheets, I gotta say, man. I'm slacking over here.
Yeah. Don't let the girlfriend see the tire marks on it.
No.
That will never get old.
Right? So let's see here. So Barbecue says, the Jetty Junior, which is that little small side-by-side, just black and gold. The Yeti Score. Oh, that's right. Dennis, they also made a small version of the Score, right? If I'm not mistaken, from Axial.
Yep, the Yeti Score, the Yeti Junior, and the Yeti Score Junior.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then I saw an earlier comment.
Kevin Gibbs said, they're Barbecue said that the Yeti Junior and the Yeti Score are the same platform as the Can-Am that they came out with.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's correct. Yeah, and I saw an earlier comment that Sean did. I can't find it anymore, but it was there on chat. Do you guys remember the Axial Yeti XL?
Yeah.
You know which one that is?
I personally don't.
No.
But it's this big, obnoxious side by side. It's like the Can-Am, but huge. I think they even marked that as a 1/8 scale, which I don't think it's a 1/8 scale. It's huge. Okay. I purchased that brand new, and I remember, even if you guys ever, or I'm sure most of you guys followed, Richard from the RC Network. He reviewed it, and he actually gave it unbiased review, and he said that he didn't enjoy it much. Why? Because of the torque twist. Why? Because a lot of the diff parts, the brake shafts would just twist. And overall, that vehicle had a lot of issues just right out of the box. I differ. Okay, I am one of the few that can actually say that the Yeti XL from Axial, it is a solid, awesome truck right out of the box. The only thing I did was just, lubricate the diffs front and rear, and I have never broken anything internally. The only thing I will admit to is I did break the servo, obviously, but who doesn't? And I just upgraded the servo, and that thing it's amazing. The components on there, it is a brushless, rebranded Castle system. They just rebranded Axial, but even when you connect a battery, it sounds just like a Castle system. And man, that thing runs amazing. So that's just my take on that. I don't know if anybody here on the panel or here on chat has ever owned a Yeti XL, but I do. I still do. It's still in one piece. And talking about what John was saying earlier about vehicles just being released a couple of years and they become discontinued. That is one vehicle, my friend, that it is now a paperweight as well, because I don't think there's many parts that I can get from Axial for that vehicle. So bummer, right? But yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've been
that's my
trying to
take.
find spare parts for this truck right here, and everything that I find is either eBay or Amazon, and people want an outrageous amount of money for them.
Yeah, that too.
I'd run it
That
more
too,
if
man.
I could find, just a spare set of diffs for it, but I don't want to go and change anything around on it. I'd rather leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff is pretty much the way it comes out of the box or the kit, as far as the drive line. That's why I quit racing. A lot of my stuff is, Associated did away with their nitro cars. Yosha did away with a lot of their nitro stuff. HPI, you can't get parts for anything because they're still in limbo.
See, the last time I heard an update of HPI, I heard they were doing a comeback. I think somebody rebought the company, and I did see, a few vehicles surface here and there, but that is one weird company, huh?
I know I've still got my 8th scale rally car sitting that I'd like to run some more, but I don't want to run it because if I break it, I can't get parts.
Yeah. I hear you, man. Vehicles that I own from HPI would be my, what is it? I think it's a Flux. It's an on-road Flux. I converted from a Beamer to a Toyota Supra. Oh, the irony, right? Is that what happened in real life? And the Savage Flux, the XS, the small one. And that one, man, that one, that is bulletproof. But again, I go easy on it because if I do break it, well, paperweight. That's what I call them.
Yeah. Axial did make a monster truck too, right?
Who?
Axial, they made a Gravedigger, didn't they?
Oh, the SMT-10. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the SMT-10.
that's probably
Oh,
not.
and that's that good point there, Keith. So when the SMT-10 came out, it was the Gravedigger and also what is it? Mad Max, I think it was. That other monster truck,
Oh yeah, it's
you know.
silver with spikes on it, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, they were both of those, you were there to choose. And all of a sudden, right, Axo just said, okay, so we're discontinuing this model. And I think that happened for like a year. And even my local hobby shop is like, oh, we're gonna keep this one. Because they're discontinued, they're no longer, making them. And so Axo pulled this, so they discontinued that and they relaunched it. Okay, they relaunched that model for like a couple months more or something like that, and yeah, everybody's like, well, okay, so what's going on here? It's discontinued. It's not. What's going on? So that is one vehicle that I just resurfaced. Like all of a sudden discontinued, and all of a sudden, boom, it came
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Maximum
Yeah.
Destruction was the name of that other monster truck with the spikes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mispronounced it. I'm sorry. So yeah, Maximum Destruction. Yeah, and here's another SCX-10. Hey, Brad. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. Here's another vehicle from Axial that it is. I don't know what's the word with this, but have you seen the SCX-10-2 Chevy Blazer? What is it? The blue with white.
Yeah. I've
If you
seen
go
that.
to their website, they still have it there, but you're not able to purchase it. It doesn't say that it's out of stock, and it doesn't say that that vehicle will be releasing soon.
That one has a
So
long wheelbase.
no, it's an SCX-10. It's the same
It's
wheelbase.
same wheelbase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I'm saying is that they discontinued that model, the Chevy Blazer. You're not able to buy it. And if you go to their website right now, it's still listed, but you can't buy it, and they don't give you a release date. They don't give you any information on it. So that's another weird. Yeah, it's weird. Bobby Q says Kevin gives Poison Spider Wraith based like Spawn and original Wraith. Yep, he's correct. So the Poison Spider, let me tell you. So the Poison Spider, it's pretty much like a Jeep based Wraith. It was like a bluish color, with like a light blue. And then the Spawn, it was more like a truck based. It was like a gray body. Again, also Wraith based. And then the Wraith itself, which is pretty much what you see in front of you, but with a more stoked out interior where you can just put your own little action figure in there. 2.2 tires. Yeah, that is the Wraith. So yeah.
Hey, KB, have you gotten to anybody reached out to you to do any portraits?
I just got one guy from the local hobby shop, and that's about it. Working on his. He's got a Sawback. Is that what that is? Yeah, a Jeep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So anybody here is going RCing tomorrow at RC probably during the week? Any adventures you guys want to talk about?
I know Dennis is going crawling at Nelson's Ledges tomorrow. I seen his post earlier.
Yeah, I'm taking both of my comp rigs and a couple cross trucks along with my original 10 out tomorrow. Burn up some batteries. Good. I went to grab a battery, come back, and my screen's black. My Wi-Fi is not keeping up. But I forgot I got to charge batteries. I won't be doing much of anything.
I just did that. Beanfield's going to go get in some trouble tomorrow. So,
Hey, Beanfield,
All right.
Kevin Gibbs said he just sent you a message through Messenger, Facebook Messenger.
okay.
And AZ said he just got his
my wife
Sawback
usually
chassis
does that.
that I will put under my Forerunner hard body. Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool.
So to answer your question, Gabe, I know I said this earlier at the very beginning. Yeah, I'm going crawling tomorrow. A little bit of crawling and bashing. Me and my son are going out to Exocaged RC's Exoplex in his backyard, and I plan to test my 6x6 with the new Fusion system. A little bit of tire testing with my Predator. Probably take my Trail Walker also, and he's like, bring something fast for the dirt hills. So I said, all right, bring in the Max. So I've got some batteries charging. I've been charging batteries all afternoon for tomorrow. So looking forward to having
Sweet,
some
man.
fun.
Epic. And then, are you going to get some filming time too?
Yes, that's actually, I reached out to him and was like, hey, is there any way I can come out Sunday and do some testing and some filming? Because I haven't I don't know if anybody's noticed, I haven't put a video out in like 3 weeks. Many different reasons in that, but I've got some that I've even started editing, but I need to finish them, basically finish recording. So yeah, that's my plan. Go out there, testing with the Fusion, videoing that, some tire testing with the Predator I'll be videoing, and some general bashing, and I'm sure I'm going to video some of that also. So yeah, make a
Awesome,
day
man.
out of it.
Looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't crawled in a little while actually, so I'm looking forward to that.
Sweet.
Kevin Gibbs
So
says he's
Keith-
going out tonight. He hasn't been in a couple weeks, too hot even at night.
Yeah.
Ah, that's awesome, Kevin.
John, what tires are you testing on the Predator now?
I still got the landmines, but the last video that I did on them with testing, when I put the CI foams in the front, I basically, this time I've taken the tuning ring off of them, which is a thin ring that it has on the outside. So I took those off and haven't driven it on the rocks yet, but just what I see on the workbench, I think I'm really going to like it. The tires, instead of being more rounded or more flat, so I think I might have more patch, touching, rocks and stuff like that. And they also seem a tad softer. So hopefully we'll see what that does.
Okay.
And I probably, why I'm out there, because I don't get out to Joe's that often to play on some of his stuff, I'm probably going to test my old TRX4 canyon trails off my TRX4, probably on the Predator, also on a couple of his, he's got a couple good obstacles there that are difficult. So we'll see.
Yeah, I just watched a video that he posted today about that new Element when he did the tire change and shop relocation on it.
That rig is, I've seen a lot of people picking it up lately, and I like what I see out of it, especially for a comp rig. If I didn't already have, the Predator built, I think I'd buy one in a heartbeat, because, you need very few little things to really go out and straight compete with it, honestly.
And again, we're not talking about the Ecto, right?
Yeah, the Ecto, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Exocaged RC got one just recently. He's just put up, I think, 2 videos. So the video that came up this morning was his first, well, no, not his first crawl, his second crawl with it. He did, tires, put trenchers on it, moved the shocks up, put a 1080 ESC on it, and looks like it's performing pretty good.
Huh?
Yeah. So I'm maybe I'll get the opportunity to play with that a little bit tomorrow too.
That's awesome, man.
They just closed
Also,
the place.
Roadside RC also got the Ecto.
Yep, sure did.
Looks pretty capable, man. I gotta say too. I saw his video as well, and yeah, guys, it's something else, you know.
Yep.
They just closed a place down where I go crawling once in a while. It's a swimming hole. Now they got big rebar down the road. You can't park there anymore. No parking. Trespasses will be, like what? A lot of people go there swimming. A lot of people. They just closed it all down.
Guru RC, welcome. It's really open discussion tonight. We've been talking a little bit about what's your favorite Axial rig that's made by Axial. All time, if it's current or not current, and really we're just talking anything, to be honest.
And also at some point we're trying to name them all. I don't even think we got close. I'm not sure, but
Yep, that too.
Yeah.
So I
Guru's
went
more
to.
into the scale.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's got I think he said he has a couple red cats, and he's actually going to come out tomorrow with us, and we'll crawl for a little bit.
Oh, sweet, cool.
Very nice. I like my red cats. They've been good to me. So
Yeah, no,
Kevin asked Sean how long he got to crawl or how long he was out today, and Sean's answer, not long, Kevin, maybe 4 hours. 4 hours out RCing is pretty good in my opinion.
That's not even a whole battery.
Okay, so Guru's got a Gen 7 Pro. I technically have one of those that's been more or less upgraded to a Predator Gen 8 setup, more or less, but nice. Javier, welcome. Thanks for stopping in.
How you doing, Javier? Welcome. Good evening.
Yep. Operation 11 Charlie got us great people.
Definitely. He goes live. I don't remember the time, but Monday evenings. Go check out Operation 11 Charlie.
Yep. I always have good stuff going on that.
Definitely.
I believe it's 8 o'clock.
Yes.
What about my time? I'm Mountain.
Then
Subtract a few hours.
then you'd probably be 7:40.
Altered RC is absolutely correct. 4 hours in Florida today, you would have melted. And absolutely, it was very, very hot day today in Florida. Wow, it was hot.
How hot? Let us know. How hot?
Well, when I got in my car to leave this afternoon, 6:15, 6:30 to go up the street for some testing with the drag car, the temperature thing in my car said it was 109 degrees.
Well, that's cute.
And hey, but wait a minute. I guarantee you the humidity was over 80%, so I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah, that's what kills you. I know that's what kills
Exactly.
you. Yeah. Technically, that's like a walk in a park for me and Keith over here in Texas.
I got no problems with 109 degrees. Just the humidity.
It's the humidity. That's what happened a little while ago was, 100, but then we had a little rainstorm and humidity just went way up today.
Yeah, we haven't seen 100 over here in probably 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm fine with.
Just enough rain and lightning would hit, shut down the computer because I'm editing something,
Go invest
So, yeah, so
in a cheap battery backup.
Yeah, well, I've got some of them. I just ain't got them plugged in. That's all.
So, gentlemen, I was gonna say briefly that so I ran this vehicle that you see in front of you. After a long time of tweaking and just putting it together to see, what was right, what was wrong with it, et cetera, et cetera. My local hobby shop and myself, we finally got it dialed in, and I went crawling with it recently, and I gotta say, man, this thing is a killer. This thing really performs really well. Uh, Initially, I'll tell you this. Initially, I wasn't that impressed. To me, it was just another, STX10. But I guess all the mods that I did to it and everything, it did live up to my standards. Okay, so this thing is a keeper. And yeah, man, if you guys haven't seen the video, feel free to watch it. Yeah, it's a short video, so probably like a 2-minute video. But
That was
yeah, man,
today,
this
right?
thing's a rock. No, I uploaded a couple days ago actually.
Must be. Yeah, I think I just watched it today though.
Yeah, that's right. And it's amazing, man. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. If you guys are curious about the mods, I went with the incision links. Excuse me, incision links, incision drive shafts. Um, I was very curious to see what this rig would do with the axial Capra shocks on this thing, and believe it or not, okay, that is the secret sauce on these rigs. Why? Because so this vehicle has stock SCX10 shocks, and the axial Capras, they have a little bit of more articulation. Okay, and I did run, the stock shocks and the Capra shocks side by side, and the Capra shocks they do droop a lot more. Okay, so even that, man, like I just dialed it in really good, and I am very pleased with the rig. So
Take care, Javier.
Yeah, thanks for stopping in, Javier. Don't get in trouble with the wife.
we'll see you, Javier. Take it easy, my friend.
See you later.
Green Frog says the 1.9 upgraded Wraith is RC Basherboi approved then?
Yes, it is. Okay, it sure is. Okay. You can pretty much look at a stock 1.9 Wraith and compare it to this, and you'll see what I've done to it. And I mean, it's a totally different Wraith, and especially in the drivetrain, because those shocks, man, that is the secret sauce. That's what I'm saying. It articulates a lot more.
Now, Gabe, when you
And
put
the
them camper shocks on, what weight oil did you use in them?
So, and here's another thing. Okay, I went on eBay, and there was a guy partying out his ready to run Capra. Okay. Honestly, I think it's whatever it came with it.
Probably
to my
30
knowledge,
weight.
probably it's super light. It's not that vicious. It's pretty much like water, honestly, because this thing, like, you can pull it. It articulates really, really well. But what I'm saying is the spring rate that this thing has, it's amazing, man.
Yeah, I put my camper shocks on my 10-2 that I started running in comps and made a big difference. The world of difference with those shocks on it.
Right? Yeah. I don't know what the Capra shocks have, but it does do a difference. Because look, I did look into Proline. I did look into RC 4-wheel drive. I did look to other brands out there to upgrade the shocks. And I said, you know what? Why did I just keep it axial? And I just went with these Capros, and oh man, that is like one of the best mounts I've ever done. Yeah. So Kevin Gibbs is asking between the Wraith and the 1.9, which would you pick if you could only have one? That's So I have both. Okay. I have the 2.2 and the 1.9. Oh man. You know what? I need to get back to you on that question. I don't have an answer yet.
So Paul's got a couple interesting posts here, sort of about our earlier conversation, particularly about Traxxas. Saying when Traxxas initially released the TRX4, one of the main features they talked about and advertised was an adjustable wheelbase. They knew they were out of the mainstream with the 12.8. And then he also says everything other than the 12.8 Defender 110, I don't know what that part in tactical has been 12.3, which of course is industry standard. So I guess he's trying to say that really hasn't been a huge variance in wheelbases other than the first, the Fender being longer, and then everything since has been 12.3 is what he's saying.
Yeah, the first two releases that Traxxas did with the TRX4 were 12.8s.
Yeah.
Which was the Defender 110 and the Tactical, which the Tactical was, in my opinion, was just a horrendous looking body.
I agree with you, Dennis. I agree.
Yep.
I
Same
don't
there.
know what
Count me in.
anybody even sees in that body that makes it attractive to anybody.
From a somewhat from a scale perspective, I sort of get it. I would never get it personally, but sort of
Right.
get it. But to me, the performance, not even I've never driven one, just seen a few videos that I've seen, I'm like, man, there's no way that thing has any fair performance.
There were 3 colors available, right? It was the blue. I think it was blue, no? Gray and black, I think.
I know there was a red color.
I believe so. With the Tactical body, I think there was only 2 colors available, and then the Defender they had 3.
The yellow one was like the big deal. I know that. And then there was like the, what is it? The lilac? No, not lilac. It was like a maroon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, maroon.
The maroon and the yellow was like the big
Green
deal.
Frog says
And the gray.
blue, red, gunmetal.
Yeah, the gunmetal and the red one were the most popular.
Popular, huh?
Yeah, those were the most popular colors.
What was that? I'm actually doing a quote here from Scarface. What did Michelle Pfeiffer say to Tony Montana when he pulled up in that Cadillac? I wouldn't be caught dead on that thing.
Yeah, I just watched Scarface, dude.
So I would say the same thing to that Tactical, man.
This is cream puff, he says. It's cream puff.
A lot of people, talking about the wheelbase piece, a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people at times complain about Red Cat for the same thing. It's basically 12.7, 12.8 wheelbase. Now it's adjustable, and they always, the Gen 8s in particular, they always listed them as adjustable, and you can adjust them from, I think, 12.9 to 12.3, I think, if I remember correctly. But I've come to like the slightly longer wheelbase. It's not drastically longer, but definitely longer. It, can make a difference if the rig's set up right and going up steep stuff.
The comp rig that I just built, it's still on a 10.2 platform, and it went from a 12.3 wheelbase to a 12.7. And that half-inch makes a difference.
Agree.
It ran its first comp last weekend, and I took 4th out of 38 guys.
Very good.
And that's the first time that truck really ran any gates. I'll tell you what, I was happy with it.
No, that's
Not
good.
that I could just figure out my steering link, so I don't get all that push onto it.
Yeah, I'd say my Predator is probably, I haven't really checked in a while or remember, but I know I'm longer than 12.3, but I'm shorter than stock. So I'm guessing like 12.5, maybe something like that.
Now, speaking of the Predator, have you talked to UGRC lately?
It's been a couple weeks since I sent him a message. Last one I sent him, I've been waiting on. I know he's been testing the transmission.
Right.
And my last message to him was, hey, where's things at? Like, I'm interested. I've been waiting, and I think the last thing he said to me was he was getting ready to send it to CAD, I think. But I hadn't heard from him because I told him to keep me updated when he was ready to start selling those. I was gonna possibly try it out.
Those should be going to CAD within the next week. Now he just needs to figure out how come he keeps blowing gears apart in it, other than them being plastic. We were out testing last weekend with it, and we were on the trail 5 minutes and blew one of the gears apart. Ran home, get another truck, comes back, and blew the steering circle apart.
Oh boy.
Altered RC said the SEX 10.2 kit came with 3 different link options with links included.
Correct.
Yeah, the kit actually came with a lot more features. Even the transmission had like a hookup option or something like that too.
Well, the only kit that did do that was the Raw Builder's kit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is getting hard to get again.
Oh no.
Yeah, the Raw Builder's kit they're starting to become hard to find. They're not discontinued, they're just getting hard to get. It's like they can't keep them in stock anywhere.
So speaking of the transmission piece, Dennis, somebody posted the other day, this guy, I think it was on the UGR Facebook page. There's out there on Thingiverse, there's a 3-gear transmission. It's like an open design transmission. Like you can 3D print the gears and the partial case and all that. And I think there's even a skid, and he printed all that and put it on his Predator and is running that setup. I went and looked at the files real briefly, and I looked at his pictures. I just don't like the fact that it's an open transmission where the gears are just, you got all these gears now that are wide open for dirt, rocks, whatever.
Right.
I don't necessarily like. I don't know. I don't necessarily like the looks of it. So.
And you said the gears are 3D printed also, or no?
Yes, all of it.
If they're not resin printed, they're not going to hold. They'll just get destroyed.
Yes. I know he's tested it so far. I think once. I think from his post, and he hasn't yet. But yeah, I just don't like the open design look.
I don't like the open design on any of some of those transmissions, because all it is just 2 plates with your shafts, bearings, and gears. It's taking too much of a risk for anything to get caught in there. Even if your wires are tied away, it's too risky.
Agree. Too many things could happen. Wires could fall in there. You could cut the wires in half, stop running in the middle of a comp. Rock could get in there and even just jam it locked up.
Yeah.
I mean, too many things, in my opinion, could happen, not be worth it. So,
exactly.
I mean, I like what I'm seeing, what they're trying to do, obviously, which is bring the motor down lower, just to lower center of gravity.
Right. I mean, that could be done by basically flipping everything over, getting the motor down as low as you can, and then just running your transmission across the skid instead of trying to build on top of everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know somebody was working on, I think, a transmission too, basically get rid of the transfer case. so you can bring the transmission and motor back. Because the biggest problem, I mean, it's not really a problem for me, but like my motor is sitting as low as it can sit in the generally stock location. Because when I fully compress it, one of my links actually hits the motor plate, only under full compression. So it's not that it's hindering it.
Right.
But basically, even if I wanted to, I can't lower it anymore there. I need to be able to bring the motor back to allow that link to, to continue to go up. So you've got to run a different style transmission, get rid of the transfer case or redesign it or whatever. So, but I also, with the way mine's set up, I like the weight distribution of it currently. So I have no issues with it. Could it be better? Everything can be better always. But making one thing better may hurt something else too. Welcome, Tank.
Hey, Tank. Good
Hey,
evening.
Tank.
Hey, Tank, how are you?
Paul says he's taking his G2 D90 out in the yard tomorrow. New tires, wheels, 1080 with Crawlmaster 15 turn to test her out. Very nice. Crawlmaster's great motor.
Awesome.
And yep. And Sean says the best thing about that Raw Builders kit is that you get all 3 different wheelbases.
Yeah, wish I was able to get a hold of one right now.
Yeah, that's what sucks. Can't get them, huh?
Well, you can. It's just you gotta get them as soon as you see them in the store or anywhere in stock. You can't hesitate. You just gotta buy it because they go quick. But
You go
I know if I
YOLO.
can get one right now, I'm gonna get another one and build another UGR chassis.
Paul, have a good
Later,
one.
Paul.
Thanks for stopping in.
We'll see you on the next one. So I kind of have an answer on what Kevin Gibbs asked me earlier about the what if I would get from the 2.2 Wraith and the 1.9. Came to a conclusion, and honestly, it will still be the 2.2 Wraith. It just like the saying, the bigger is better. It's got bigger wheels, bigger wheelbase. That thing is it's glue. Whatever you throw at it. My Axle Wraith. I'll tell you this: my Axle Wraith, I've owned it for many years. Until this day, has not disappointed me once. And that is actually my weapon of choice. If I ever compete with somebody or whatever, if I have to go and on a trail with somebody, that thing does amazing. The only thing is, of course, I'm not really that good with classes, but since it's 2.2, well, obviously it's much more superior than anything else. So, but then again, it's a beast. I love it. So that's my answer. Hopefully you liked my answer. There it is.
Yeah, from a class standpoint, it basically puts you in class 3 with those 2.2s.
Yeah, and see, I've crawled with friends, and trust me, like 80% of the people that I go out and crawl with, they all have 1.9. I mean, there's not one guy that says, YOLO, F it, I'll run to 2.2s. Probably I'm the whole guy here, in my city that runs 2.2s. So, but hey, I mean, it does serve a purpose. But I gotta say, it's an amazing rig.
Yeah, pretty much around here, if we go out crawling just for fun or anything, trailing or whatever, pretty much everybody brings 1.9 rigs.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when we do competitions, we have class 3, and most everybody, if they're in class 3, is running usually 2.2s. Some of the guys will even run the same rig from class 2 in class 3, just swapping out to a 2.2 tire.
Yeah. So Kevin Gibbs is asking, is the Wraith the same thing, is the same class as the Bomber? Yes, it is. But the Bomber is not the same thing as a Wraith. The Bomber is more of an updated design, but then again, it's still the same class. They're still meant to do the same, what they're supposed to do.
Right, they're
I've
both-
asked what's that, Dennis?
No, I was going to say they're both classified as a rock racer.
Yeah, and I've asked before, if you go out and crawl with a Bomber, I've been told that I was just gonna have a bad day because I guess the system is not set up right. I mean, I don't know. What's your take on that, Dennis? You own a Bomber by any chance?
It all depends, really. I mean, if you're going to try to follow 1.9 truck through a course with that's running 1.9s on them, you're going to have a hard time because you're going to be a little bit wider and a little bit longer. But it's all in how you have it set up. It doesn't matter what you're running, just you got to set it up to keep up with everybody else.
So wider and longer, huh? That's what she said. I had to say it. I had to say it.
I was waiting for that tonight.
In theory, too, if you're taking the same rig and one on 1.9s and one on 2.2s, the one on 2.2s are going to sit a little taller too as well, which in crawling can be a hindrance. Obviously, clearance is great to have ground clearance, but when you're doing funky angles and stuff like that, being a little higher is changing your center of gravity. Where the 1.9 vehicles might have a better, go at it with that. So, but driver plays a factor as well, and the line, bunch of things.
So here's my take on my 2.2 Wraith. I installed a droop kit on mine, and that bad boy sits low to the ground. I mean, like I said, whatever you throw at it, that thing will just eat it. Just pretty much just go through it like nothing.
Correct. Which that's why I sort of said, like, if you take two of the same exact rigs, and one on 1.9s, one on 2.2s, the 2.2 would technically sit higher if they're the same exact rig set up the same way. Obviously, like you did, you can put a droop setup, which is going to help center of gravity, bringing it down, but still allowing probably a little bit more ground clearance than the same rig on 1.9s with the droop kit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and all in all, it's just, I guess by the end of the day, it's just the way you have it set up, just like John was saying,
Yeah.
So, but I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever want to crawl with me, RC Basherboi, if you really want to get, I guess in competition, I'll probably take this, the 1.9, which, like I said, it doesn't disappoint. I'm very impressed on this thing, 1.9. And my 2.2, I'll bring it out if you kind of aggravate me. So.
No, when I come out there and crawl, you're gonna run the you're gonna run one of the TRX4s.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I'll bring my Blazer. We can run Blazer against Blazer.
Oh yeah, man. That would be an awesome take too. Yeah.
You got a good crawling spot with next to your arena, Basherboi?
So the where I shot this my 1.9 Wraith, there is several rocks, thrown there, and it does a really neat course, I gotta say. Another thing that you'll probably be surprised. So El Paso, my city, it does feature a huge mountain, which is called the Franklin Mountains. It is full with trails, beautiful trails, rock trails, dirt trails, you name it. And even there, man, I got plenty to do, as far as crawling here in West Texas. So, but where I actually do my filming, it is just that little section where I always, film, which is just a little pile of rocks. And it does great. I gotta say it too. You know.
Barbecue Altered RC says a bomber runs trailing arm and the Wraith does not. Just to differentiate the two a little bit.
And he's correct. Yeah, the bomber is much more of a rock racer, and both of them are. But again, you know, the bomber, they actually just redesigned it. Really,
And
you know.
speaking of that, we talked about this earlier. The new Element Ecto, it's got the trailing arms in the rear, and it actually, from what I've seen so far, it's got great articulation on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I noticed it also has a sway bar setup on it too.
Yes, yeah, from stock as well, sway bar, and it seems just what I seen Joe put it in that video he released today. So you know, I was like, wow, it's got really good flex.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah. So
I broke my bar, the sway bar. The sway still works, but I broke the bar. Glad they had two of them.
it just sways more now.
Yeah, it just sways more. I was like, what is going on? It was all messed up. And I noticed the bar that connected, I broke it. But luckily they sent two of them in the kit I got.
Well, you should have got two different thicknesses, right?
Yeah, probably.
I need to get a sway bar for my DR10.
So I guess here's another generalized question I guess we can ask tonight. If you were to pick a 2.2 Wraith or a bomber, what would you choose?
Bomber for me.
Interesting. Okay.
And I will say too that when I first started into crawling and started hanging around people locally, there was a few people with Wraiths, and I actually really liked it. Like I was like, "Ooh, I want one of those." Like, and I guess at the time they were pretty popular, so it seemed like everybody around here was getting them, and I was like, "Oh, I want one." And I'll be honest, I've changed. You know, I've been around enough, obviously, crawlers and everything, because to me, it's just a slightly larger crawler in a way. You know that can sort of be bashed on. You know. So if I was gonna get something of the two, I would go bomber so I could just have a straight basher, because I've got quite a few crawlers and pretty good crawlers at that. So I'm just gonna get something that's straight, you know, just beat the crap out of.
So you would use a bomber that is intentionally what it is, you know, just to rock race.
Yep, bomb, straight bomb with it.
Go to town with it. All right,
Yeah,
hey.
exactly.
Probably,
so that's
I'd
why
probably
I'd go
get one of
that
them
way.
too. Instead of another
So
crawler.
Keith as well.
Yeah.
I'd probably
basher.
do the bomber. I think the bomber is a little bit more agile than the Wraith. I've seen them both in action, and I like the way the bomber floats around. It's more agile on some of the big stuff.
Oh no.
Now
Welcome back,
there are
Paul.
two versions. Welcome. There are two versions of the bomber, which is the first gen. I think Kevin Gibbs even mentioned it. It was just one color, which is with the blue and black, I think it was, right?
Right.
And then when they re-released another body, it was just I think it was like a grayish body, right? It's Savvy, something like that. And I don't remember the other one. Do you guys do?
They've got the bomber 2.0, which is
What?
if I'm not mistaken, it's a little bit bigger than the original bomber.
Oh, so it's bigger. Okay.
I want to say it's a little bit bigger. I can't say for sure. If anybody knows, it would be Green Frog, if he's still here.
I'm
Green
sure,
Frog,
yeah,
you still out
he's
there?
on
Can you
chat.
give us some
Probably.
info?
So we're trying to figure out which one's bigger, the first gen or second gen bomber. So everybody here on the panel said bomber. Interesting.
And I'm gonna
So-
guess you would take the Wraith.
That's correct.
Traitor.
And look, so when the bomber came out, my first impression was, okay, so it's an updated Wraith, right? I've seen them in person, and just like how you said, it's a lot bigger, it's bulkier. For some reason, it sits too high. To me, the thing is the right height. That's what I don't like about it. If I would actually put my Wraith, and I know my Wraith is modified, but if I would put my Wraith next to a bomber, oh man, the bomber is just a mile high vehicle, honestly.
Right.
And that's why it does it for me. I just like we were talking about earlier. I guess a vehicle that sits low and has plenty of gravity. I guess, and the thing is, I love to crawl with those vehicles. I know they're rock racers, right? But I just like to take it slow, in a sense, right? And it's just the right height, man, that I just don't like at all. So
We'll see you, bro.
that's just my take. Later, Brett.
AZ, be safe. Take care of yourself. Have fun out there at the
Later.
track.
Stay hydrated.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
in the actual desert, I gotta say.
Yeah.
So 3 bombers and a Wraith. Awesome.
I know we had
I like
a couple people in the chat say bomber also. Maybe not everybody, but I know a few people did.
Let's see. I think it was Kevin Gibbs said bomber. I know for sure. Brett, I know he already left, but he wanted the Wraith, the spawn. I think that's about it. That's all the answers we got.
Altered
definitely like
RC
the
says he has a
rocket.
bomber kit converted into an SMT-10 style as well.
Oh, so he monster trucked it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he put the differentials of the SMT-10 onto the bomber chassis. Is that what I'm going with?
Here's a good question Kevin asked. What is the size difference in the bomber and the Rift? Which I know, Dennis, you have a Rift, right?
Yeah.
And a bomber.
No, I don't have a bomber.
No bomber? Ah.
No. If I remember right, when I seen the Rift 2.0, I'm sorry, not the Rift 2.0, the Bomber 2.0, when I seen that compared to my Rift, I want to say that the Bomber is going to be a little bit wider and maybe just a tad longer, only because they've got the spare tire on the back, and with the independent suspension on the front, they lengthen the nose a little bit.
So we have a request. Guru RC was asking, can we show pics of these platforms? I can always look up some pics. And Green Frog says 12.5 wheelbase on the Rift.
That's a
And
fairly large Wraith.
0.75 width on the Rift as well. And Paul was saying he got a Red Cat Gen 8, bought it as a hand-me truck. Like, I can hand it to anybody to drive. It's been a tank, only one repair in about 2 years. Paul, I've got multiple Red Cat products, and I've had extreme success with them. I think they're great rigs, personally, so I'm not surprised by that. So
That's the Rift.
Oh,
It's just
insane
big.
looking.
yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculously large.
And even in the pictures, I don't think the pictures does it. Even like seeing it right here, I don't think does it justice because I've seen them in person, and every time I see one in person, I'm like, wow, that thing is huge.
I mean,
that's what she said too. But
That's what she said.
I took a picture when I first got this. I took a picture of this side by side with the Capra, and it makes the Capra look like a 10-2 next to this. I mean, it's small compared to it. But, I mean, looking at the bottom, I mean, you're basically looking at a Capra with trailing wheels until you see where the drive shaft comes out, which is off to the side instead of in the middle.
Mhm.
The same thing on the front. I mean, it's just stupid.
Green Frog says 9.6 inches overall height on the Rift.
Yes.
17 long with tires for Rift.
Interesting.
Yeah, when I went to grab this table, I knocked a whole bunch of stuff down because it's so big. Yeah, axle to axle is 15 and a half. Overall, from tire to tire is 21 and a half.
Wow.
21. Damn.
And 21 and a half overall from edge of tire to edge of tire. And then,
so that thing can really go uphill.
Rift was skinny and short. There ain't no way it's short, not at no 21 inches.
And it's just it's like 12 and a quarter wide at the tires. It's like I said, it's just stupid. It's too big.
Kevin says the Bomber is 11 inches wide.
That's not what she said.
Yeah. Paul said he used to
he
live
told
in
her.
Missouri City, Texas, just outside of Houston. 100+ degrees was fine. Low humidity. Liked it there.
Well, Houston is humid. I'll tell you that. I would never go near Houston. No. I'm not meant for humidity. I'm meant for dry weather.
Yeah, it's only humid down here, over here, when it rains. After a rainstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah, humidity doesn't play good with old fat guys either.
No.
Tell me about it.
So okay, so here's another good question. Since we touched the topic about a Bomber and a Rift, now the Rift is actually a rock bouncer, and the Bomber is a rock racer. I mean, I know they're different vehicles, but gentlemen, which vehicle would you choose if you had both of those rigs in front of you? You had to choose one.
The Rift.
So what was my options again? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear it all.
So if you had to choose between the Bomber and the Rift, which one would you choose?
I want to bounce.
Probably the Rift.
The Rift.
I feel like it's just the newer version of the Bomber. It's the big bad Bomber.
I think it kind of collided with the Capra and the Bomber. They just kind of
see that.
slammed them together, and that's what they came up with.
And I do like a Capra. In fact, I want a Capra. Like I still want a Capra. So
Will anybody here own a Capra? Anyone?
Dennis.
No.
Dennis owns them all. Dennis has them all.
I'm glad.
I mean,
Let
I'm
me
sort of
ask you
surprised,
this.
Gabe, you don't have one. I mean, you've got like almost 70 rigs. Like you should have
Yeah.
one. Well, look, there is a meaning to that. There is a, I guess a why I don't own it. But before Dennis shows his Capra, of the things that I disliked about the Capra is that there's no space on that thing. You cannot mount a battery, a full-size battery on there because there's no space. The space is so limited that I'm trying. Yeah, I do understand why, because that vehicle is so centered. Okay, it is so well balanced that anything that you modify in the body modifies the statistic of the vehicle. And to me, I run full size batteries. I know it does really, really well, but see, the thing is, I like to have space. It's like buying a sports car, right? With no trunk, no hood. Like, where do you put your stuff? You know what I mean?
Don't
So, Dennis, I mean, am I in the ballpark? Can you agree with what I'm saying?
Yes and no about the battery, but as far as under the driver's area, you're very limited on what you can put in there. Now, the batteries that I'm running they're shorty pack 2700 milliamp 3S. They're a tight fit, but you could also get a shorter battery that will last just as long. I know a few guys that have them that are running 4,000 or 5,000 milliamp 3S batteries, and they have plenty of room.
So can you show us where you mount your battery? I'm curious because I don't know where to even put it.
Same spot that they go, stock location.
It's on the hood, okay.
Deep under the hood right here. But they limit you because they tuck in right behind the wheel for clearance. So that limits you on both sides for your width. But this is what you have for a compartment. It's not a lot of room. So you could adjust for a 2-cell or a 3-cell. I run a 3S in this all the time, and I don't have an issue. And I'm ready to change the electronics out of it and go with something a little bit different. Right now, I've got the Castle Slate 2850 in it with the Mamba Micro X. But right now, as it sits, it's just a hair over 6 pounds. Got always watching me.
Wait. You're running a Mamba Micro X ESC?
Yes. That's really all you can get in there. I had a 1080 in it, and it took up more room than the Micro X.
Does the Mamba part of my question, right? But does the Mamba Micro X, does it have plenty of drag brake? I mean, I'm curious.
Oh yeah.
Micro X?
Yeah, it's got good drag brake. It's not like full lock-on brake, but it does keep it from rolling.
Okay. That is something I didn't know. Interesting.
Yeah, it's got a good amount of drag brake to it. I like it. It just, like I said, I'm going to put it in something different and get a different system for this. Because I think I'm going to start comping this truck now.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, sort of adding to your, hold on a second. Sorry. I was going to say the battery situation. I know when I first started crawling, I had Gen 7, Gen 8, then even my TRX4. I bought all big packs at that time. I wanted 5,200 milliamp packs so I could crawl for hours and never have to change a pack and all that. And I remember when I first started competing, people were like, "Oh, you got to go to a smaller pack." And I'm like, "Oh no, I don't need a smaller pack." And obviously, I've eventually switched to smaller packs and have even built a rig or two sort of around the smaller packs. Even though some people still go even smaller than I do. And even now, when I go to big events, I say big events, but like, crawl days, just fun crawl days or whatever, I tend to still mostly run my small packs, which are usually between 1,500 and 2,200 milliamp packs. On 3S, if I've got, my crawl master is typically what I'm running, 1080 ESC, I can usually get well over an hour, hour and a half or so crawling, out of that pack, before needing to switch, which, isn't a big deal. If I can crawl for an hour or trail for an hour, hour and a half before swapping a pack, it's not a big deal. It's not like I'm stopping every 5 minutes to swap out a pack. So I can understand not wanting bigger packs, because I was the same way. But now that I'm there, it's like I can't see myself going to the big packs.
And see now, here's my take. Okay, so why don't I own a Capra? Oh, another vehicle that has the same characteristics of a Capra, it is the Vatera Twin Hammers. Okay, the Vatera Twin Hammers, you can't run a full-size battery unless you buy like this. There is some aftermarket company that you can actually install like a full-size battery tray on there. But honestly, to me, it looks hideous. But technically, out of the box, okay, even if you would buy a Twin Hammers, it would come fully ready to run. Okay, they would just give you a full LiPo battery with the charger, remote batteries for the remote, and all you gotta do is just charge up and plug and play. The battery, it's tiny, just like how Dennis showed us. It's super tiny. At first, I was like, oh, what's in the box, right? Everything. But it's just, I guess when that battery went bad, I literally had to buy Venom batteries. And that's technically what I've used, ever since, the Venom batteries. Going back to the Capra, do you own a Venom battery, Dennis? The shorty
No,
Venoms?
no, I don't. All my batteries that I have now are the Common Sense Electron Pros.
Okay.
I do have some old Reaction 2S batteries that I used to run in my Losi Nightcrawler.
Okay.
But everything else, like I said, is the Common Sense Electron Pro.
I eyeballed, the battery tray on the Capra. I honestly thought that not even the Venom batteries were gonna fit on the Capra. And then remember, so the Capra, when it came out, the kit came out first, and then the ready to runs. Okay, so when everybody was just doing all the builds and everything, and I'm just like, well, so technically you would have to buy your electronics, motor, ESC, servo, the receiver, and you also had to go buy a battery that would actually fit there.
Correct.
To me, that was like a big, like, you know what? Oh, that's why I just, decided not to get it. So that's my take. That's why I don't know the Capra.
Well, see, the RTR, when they did that, they just picked a battery that they knew was going to fit in it and offered that as a combo. A lot of the guys that did buy the RTRs had to go buy a battery anyhow, and they were questioning what size battery to use.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And to me, that was the turnoff right there, the battery.
Now, I think
that's what she said, but I didn't know what to really fit in there.
Well, what they could have done is they could have utilized a little bit more of the front of the truck for battery. They could have made it where the battery sat in the center of the chassis and ran down through the middle, where you could have ran a bigger battery. Or even, eliminate those flares on the side behind the tires, so you could have went with, just about any battery other than a full size.
Yeah, man, and that's what I'm saying. To conclude, it's just that whole space restriction from that vehicle that I literally say, you know what, I'm just gonna be unpleasant with this and scrap it, scrap the idea. So and then it's now I've thought about running a full size battery somehow, on the Capra. Will that ever work? Ever? I mean, do you think probably just by gutting out the entire truck?
Even by pulling the cabin interior out of it, you're still not going to be able to do it because the transmission and the dig setup is so close. Like I said, you don't have a lot of room where the electronics actually go. So a 1080 is real close to the back of the motor. A 540 size motor just fits in there right, unless you grind a little bit off of one of the link mounts, and then you can squeeze a 550 in. But I wouldn't recommend doing that. I know there are some companies that are doing aftermarket skids for them that you can do a 550 can and a full size servo for the dig. But once you do that, you're taking away from the performance by putting a bigger motor in it to begin with.
Yeah.
And then, with the full size servo for the dig, I could get that because, right now you're only stuck with a couple servos for the dig unit that you can use.
And now, so why is a Capra so well balanced, right? And there's your answer. Why? Because everything is just in one spot.
Everything is dead center.
Dead center. Okay.
Right.
I mean,
that
thing is well balanced.
Right. The only thing that you have up front is your steering servo, and your battery just sits a little forward off center, so it puts you at about a 56 to 60% on the front and 40 to 45% on the back, depending on what battery you use. But a lot of people also put their stuff, instead of your electronics going in that fuel cell in the back, a lot of people are putting weight back there. And they're mounting all their electronics underneath the body. How they're doing that, how they're squeezing it in, I don't know, because there is no. So I dread having to take it apart just to change the electronics out of it. I mean,
so there you go.
If I were to pull the body off of it, it would look like somebody just took a big nuts of wire and threw it in there, because you can't tuck anything in nice and neat. It's all balled up and zip tied and on top of each other. They didn't leave you any room.
That's why if I get one, it will be a ready to run, because I don't want to put it together.
and now, John, so when the Capra came out, remember, it was the kit that came out first and then the ready to run.
Yep.
I mean, it was a whole hype. The Capra this and Capra that. And I just looked at the specs and everything, and just people just running them left and right. And I'm like, there's literally no space on that thing. And so that answers your question, right? That's why I don't know one. I guess to avoid the whole headache, I just said, nah.
And the
but
Capra,
again, go ahead, John.
I was going to say that Kevin sort of said something that made me think of this. He says the turning radius looks sick, and I do know that the Capra axles, particularly the front axles, are very sought after for building just crawlers. They are wider, but they have great turning. You can get some phenomenal turning out of those Capra axles. They really, really do get some amazing turning out of them. So, people will put those on a crawler, because of they hold up pretty well, and they have good turning. And there's a few mods you can do to them to get a little more out of them. So.
Yeah, a lot of the guys take and grind right in here on the backside of the C hub.
Yep.
They take that little stopper and grind that off. And the only downfall with doing that is it weakens it because it is only a one piece. You could probably find, to get more steering out of it, a set of the SSD links that are bent, which will give you about 3 more degrees of steering. I think right now they're at roughly 46 or 47 degrees steering on them. But then you also have the dig, which puts you at basically, turn around, stop on a dime, and pick it up.
Exactly. You turn those wheels sharp and hit that dig, and that thing, it's impressive. So, I mean, as an example, with that front axle, I'm sure a lot of us here follow Exocaged RC, and if you followed enough of his builds, he's used the Capra axles on so many different builds. He's got it on his TRX 6x6 build. He swapped out the front axle for the Capra axle so he can, have better steering, which makes it wider in the front than it is in the back. But as he puts it, and it's a very good way of looking at it, he goes, I'd rather be wider in the front. I can steer the front and put the front where I want it. The back, on the other hand, is going to follow the front, so having it narrower in the back works out. And of course, he put a Capra skid and transmission and stuff, so he's got dig, and I've played with his 6x6. Oh my God, thing. I mean, you hit that dig on that 6x6 and wow, that thing is impressive how tight that long vehicle turns. So
now,
axle.
I'm curious. So the 6x6 has dig now. So what, the 4 back wheels lock up?
Yeah. So I mean, he put the transmission stuff, basically Capra transmission and dig unit in it. So yeah, it basically the back wheels lock. And there's different ways of doing that too. Like we saw somebody at USTE with one that did rear steer on a 6x6, where just the rear, was it the rear axle? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, just the rear axle steered, and that thing, I wish I'd have taken video of the guy when he showed it to us. Me and Exocage were sitting there and we're like, wow, because the middle axle didn't steer, front axle, rear axle steered, and that thing just pivoted on that middle axle, and it was insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it starts with that front axle being as good a steering as it has stock. And like I said, you can do those few modifications and get a few more degrees out of it. And it's so that's why the Capra is a good vehicle. I mean, it's well balanced, like we've already stated, well balanced because of where they've put everything. Great steering, add the dig to it, and it's extremely capable rig.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
The comp that I went to last Saturday, we actually ran class 3 for the first time. And I ran that, and I think there was 6 other guys that ran Capras, and I was the only one that used dig. And they had a hard time getting around because of the way that the course was set. So if you don't have dig on something and you want to run class 3, walk the course before you decide to enter. That's all I got to say. Because without it, I would have never even signed up for it.
The only vehicle that I have dig on right now is my my Jeep Gladiator, and so that's a factory, stock dig. I haven't really modified my Jeep, but that's I do see, how dig really could be a lifesaver when you're like in a tight position where the freaking truck just won't steer. You just lock the back wheel and pivot, boom,
Well, especially with the truck because it's such a long wheelbase.
Yeah, and the Gladiator's a boat, man. That
Oh, yeah.
that thing goes to town too. You know, one of the things that I do notice is if you're approaching, I would say maybe some rocks, uh, that thing will bottom out by the time you're like in those rocks actually hit, you know, the second wheels. Because you know, since it's so long, you know, the chassis does bottom out. But then again, I mean, the only thing that aids that truck is the portal axles one, and then if you're at like in a really tight position where you just need to just lock your back wheels, well, yeah. So those aids really help the you know the longer wheelbase. That's all I can say for Gladiator. Yeah. I went to compete actually many months ago, just with local guys here from my local hobby shop and just friends in general. We went out to a trail up in the mountains, and at first I was like, you know what, this thing is a boat; it will not turn. It would just do horrible. It actually that vehicle proved me wrong. It was a very very stable rig with so much capability. So
Hey, Kevin. Kevin said the trans was, he's talking about the 6x6 because he was asking if we thought Axial would bring the 6x6 back in a different form. And Altered RC said that the guy from Horizon said they didn't sell well, which I remember hearing that. I want to say on Operation 11 Charlie's stream recently. But Kevin's asking, was the trans bad? Wasn't it? They clicked a lot. It wasn't the trans, it's the rear axles. Click a lot, and I've experienced that with mine. You know, they're known for stripping out the diffs, I believe in them, and there's some upgrades for them that's recommended. A lot of it has to do with the way you drive it as well, but it's not the trans. I think the trans is the same trans that's been in pretty much all the Axial 3 gears. I believe. I don't hold me to that because I'm not an Axial expert, but that's the rear axles that click.
The transmission that clicked was the 10.3.
Yes.
There was a free mod that you can do to that to get them to quit clicking, and I believe it was a small shim that was the issue.
Yeah, the 10.3s definitely had some clicking because it was basically clearances. It was too loose or something, I believe, right?
Yes.
So, but I definitely with the 6x6, I know I'm gonna have to upgrade my rear axle, one of my rear axles here in the near future. I've had it click a few times, and I know I've beat on it here recently. And I've heard it click a few extra times, and I have a feeling now that I've put the Fusion on there that I'll probably have to do an upgrade for too long.
I think the only reason that the rear axle clicks on them is because it's such a long wheelbase, and you have to rely on that rear axle to move you more than the front.
Might be, I don't know. I will say that just driving a 6x6 in general is definitely interesting. I mean, it's amazing, particularly in certain situations, how that long of a vehicle with that extra axle really can make a difference in certain situations where it's just like, wow, you'd have never gotten that with a 2-axle rig, much shorter. Like certain things, it's just like, wow.
Yeah, there's a guy here that just turned 6x into just a regular 4x. He eliminated the through axle, left it along the wheelbase, and made it a tow rig. So he's got a long flatbed on it, and he built a 5-foot-long gooseneck trailer to tow behind it. His overall length is 6.5 feet.
See,
That's a train, man.
I want a long gooseneck trailer to pull behind my 6x6. One that's long enough to put 3 rigs on it. I think that would just, the 6x6 with this gooseneck behind it, hauling 3 rigs, it would be long as anything, but I think it would be awesome.
That would be a 6x6x8.
Right? Definitely.
If you guys remember, I don't know if you guys seen the movie Jurassic Park. I think it's the second one. I think. Isn't there like a scene where they're like in this RV, and it's like this huge RV, right? But it's pretty long, and then the freaking T-Rexes come in because I think they have like the baby T-Rex on there, and then the T-Rexes just push that RV. I actually literally picture that when you guys are talking about that long gooseneck and the big old 6x6. You guys should reenact that, man.
Yeah. Sadly, though, those kind of trailers, unless you're skilled, and I'm not skilled in that way to make one and be confident that it would look and perform decent, to pay somebody for that or buy one, they're not cheap.
Yeah, you're gonna be.
Yeah.
There's a guy local to me that builds custom enclosed trailers out of aluminum and just some like a veneer, and it only holds 1 rig, but they're a tandem axle. They're like $300-$400.
Wow.
And that doesn't include any of the lights. If you want lights on it, it's another $100.
They're pricey. I mean, I have a normal trailer for 1 rig, two axle trailer that I bought off somebody, and it was more or less a home built trailer. I'm trying to remember. I got really lucky and got that one for like $125. Because I couldn't find anything cheaper for one that size under $200, and I got lucky and found this one and picked it up. Trailers are expensive, but man, they can look so good.
Indigy's got a tandem axle trailer. It's all metal. I believe it's $189, and I bought a trailer from Cross RC. It's all CNC machine Darlin plastic that you have to put together and paint. It was $219.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like it. It holds up. It's got the leaf springs on it. It's got 1.9s on it. But it also has a light kit that as soon as you turn it on, the side marker lights will flash.
I think I have that one. Actually, I don't know the brand of my trailer. I think it's the one that you're saying. Yeah, so it has a 3-position switch, which you just turn on and then it blinks. And then you switch to the on position, then you go to the other switch. It just stays.
I think the one that you had was either a Team Raffi or the Indigy. It's got the mesh floor.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get it. Hold on. Got it here.
Yeah, I believe that's a Team Raffi.
I made both of my trailers.
Well, I'm ready to build one because I have 2 trucks that need to tow something.
All right, let's see. And I wanted to. Oh, hell yeah! So my rate does fit on there. There it is. And then, so it's a 3-position switch.
Yeah, that's a nice trailer.
That's the Team Raffi.
And then, see, there you go.
Yep. Team Raffi trailer because it's got the jack on the front that actually works.
There's the battery in the little box in the front.
Yeah, there's a battery on there. All right there.
So your 2.2 could tow your 1.9.
Yeah, so technically my Honcho and that's what makes it a recovery vehicle per se. I just haul this with my Honcho and just go to town with it. I'm also planning to haul this with my TRX Forces as well. I just haven't found the right hitch for it just yet. Because actually, I don't know why, but I'm getting very picky with a hitch. for a TRX4. I don't want it to sit too high or too low. Just wanted to have it just right. But yeah, man, you know, this is the trailer that I have.
My
Mine.
my TRX4 pulls my trailer quite well. It actually probably is my favorite rig to pull the trailer with is my TRX4.
I'll show you one of my trailers in a minute.
Bull Gear, welcome.
Uncle Lee, welcome.
How you doing, Uncle Lee?
Man, I gotta say,
So-
Uncle Lee kills it with those SCX 24s.
I'm still waiting to see some video on Ugly Bubba.
Same here. And actually, he has put out a video of it, just running it briefly, but not a lot. As you know, that we all know what Ugly Bubba stands for, and you know what that vehicle can do. But
Oh yeah,
I'd like to see more.
I remember when he
Yeah.
first built that truck and all the transitions it's going through.
Yeah, so it was formerly an SCX 10, and then it just reincarnated this big old chassis, all metal, and then he just beefed it up. So, and the thing is, so Ugly Bubba and my SCX 10, you know, we're if the time ever comes, right? Yours over here at West Texas will definitely do a run, and that'll Uncle Lee and myself, we always say that's plenty of testosterone to go around. Yeah, yeah, that's some really mean rigs.
So Bull Gear just built a 1/18 scale SCX 24 Bronco. I think you need to build one of those for Sean. I know he would love to have one. He's been talking about it forever.
You know what?
Yeah.
I do have a question now that Lee is in chat. What is the progress on that Gremlin build? How's that coming along?
Gremlin build, huh?
This is a trailer I built.
Hit the wrong one.
Oh, hit the wrong one.
That's wicked.
Yeah, thanks.
That's cool.
That is it. That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
I cut the axle was short, so I cut it and put it on there. This is from a lamp post that, you know, one of them lamps that you put on your table, bends down. I took
Like
that all
Pixar
apart.
lamp.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's
Thanks.
cool, man. So what is on there? I mean, what you got a pound of rice
Just,
and
yeah,
sleeping bags and
yeah, it's just stuff. It's nothing really here, but I got a jug, and then I got 2 55-gallon drums for supposed to be gas, and a little gas thing, pump it out, and some
Nice.
sand ladders.
that's good, man.
And this is the wood. It's made out of paint stir sticks.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That is
It's not
pretty
too heavy,
neat, man.
That's cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
So he says Tim's been working on it some. He has the back hatch cut out now. I guess the window will open and the hatch too.
Okay, nice. Yeah, ever since he had stopped posting videos on all the builds he was working on, I kind of lost track of what was going on since he moved the studio around.
And you're talking about tandem seat television, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a bunch of changes with the studio, and I just lost track of everything that was going on. I'm so backlogged on trying to watch all these videos that I'm subscribed to. I'd be here a
man,
week.
I heard that, man.
Don't feel guilty, man. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just trying to catch up on those, along with running my Facebook group and 3 other ones that I'm an admin on, and you know, just trying to keep everything together here, with my wife and me. It's hard.
He said that he did a Gremlin Progress video about a week or so ago.
Time to start going into the archives of everything I haven't watched yet.
Here you go.
There you go.
So there you go. It's an axial night.
They have 2 big old tires on there.
So it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. So probably starting to wind down here a little bit. Next Saturday, make sure you join us. I think we're gonna have a pretty good show next Saturday.
Definitely. I concur.
Yeah.
Going to be a special guest on next Saturday?
There is.
Yes,
Oh.
we can't say because we have to confirm first. But it is the only thing I can say is an underrated channel. We followed this guy. I followed him for I think he even started YouTube. But he's a really, really underrated channel, and I'm curious to see. Well, we know what the segment is about, right? But I'm very curious to see how that show is gonna go, and I'm very looking forward to it. That's all I can say.
I think, I agree. I think we could say that it's not going to be necessarily like last Saturday. It's going to be a little different. It's more of a show and tell.
Yes.
So we can say that. So, and in fact, I think that's what we're calling it, is show and tell.
Yep.
So it's going to be a little different than, say, what we did last week. But I'm looking forward to it. I think everybody knows this person, so it should be. I think it's going to be a good show.
Yeah. And also taking this opportunity, if you really do enjoy these segments, comment down below. If you're watching the replay or whatnot, let us know what we can do next. So right now what we have in our plate is show and tell, interviewing just YouTubers, RC YouTubers here in general. What was that other one? Oh, and the RC questions. Okay.
Yeah, trivia.
If you also enjoyed.
Yep.
Yeah, so the trivia questions. Which one do you enjoy the most? Let us know in the comment section. And if you guys want to just let us know what you want to see next, let us know. And yeah, we'll definitely put something together and we'll make it work.
Yep. And the trivia piece, we'll probably do that every few months or so, a couple months pending. We won't do those all the time because one, maybe you run out of questions or whatnot, but bring that on every so often. As a special, so to speak. So.
Yep. Yeah. But and honestly, I do have a new list of trivia questions. I mean, it's not a big list, right? But it's in the works. I don't know if I can actually even say this, but we will have a trivia question night in the near future, I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that.
Paul, you're asking, is there a regular schedule? Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern every Saturday night. We have, Let's Talk RC tonight, open panel, general conversation. Next week will be show and tell with a special guest that we'll announce later in the week. The following Saturday, we'll be back to this format right here that we're on. And then the next Saturday, we'll be doing another channel interview type thing. So basically every other weekend we'll be, sort of swapping between show and tell and interview and open panel, but 9 p.m. every Saturday, either here on my channel or sometimes if I'm not available, then it'll be on RC Basherboi's channel. So between the two of us.
Yep. So just either or, whoever can host tonight. And again, this segment, it is JMH RC's, as far as mine as well. again, the reason why JMHRC hosts is because sometimes I can't. He comes in, and then sometimes even vice versa, he won't be able to host, so I can host. So therefore, we will continue to make the show based on our availability. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yep.
but yeah, that's pretty much. So in my community tab, I'll let you guys know how the show's gonna run, whether JMHRC will host or myself, RC Basherboi, will host. The segment of Let's Talk RC every Saturday evening. Yeah, just look out from all of the notifications in my community tab. Also, we are in our Instagram. It is mine is RC Basherboi, and then JMHRC also. I think it's underscore, no? JMHRC?
Yeah, JMH underscore RC on Instagram.
And follow us on Instagram as well. We also, well, basically more John posts more of an Instagram channel. I just put in my community tab. I guess for me it's a lot easier. But yeah, just stay tuned with us, and I'll let you know where we're gonna host, this live show, and yeah, we'll get it done.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I enjoy it doing it, and look forward to it every Saturday. So before we completely close out, we'll go around on the panel here, and KB, if you got any words you want to say to the viewers or anybody, feel free.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having this on Saturday night and inviting me. And I'm looking forward to the show and tell. That's going to be pretty cool.
Cool.
And just have
appreciate
fun.
it, Keith.
Yeah,
thanks for showing up, man.
Yep. Dennis, you got anything you want to?
Yeah, I appreciate the invite in, and like Keith said, man, appreciate you guys doing this and letting me be a part of it. It's a great time.
Our pleasure, man.
And hope we can keep doing this for a while.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And, I just want to say thank you to Gabe RC Basherboi for allowing me earlier this year to have this opportunity to help keep the show going on Saturdays when he's not able to be a part. I've enjoyed it, learned a lot from it, so I enjoy doing that. And so thank you. I want to thank everybody that's been on tonight and every Saturday night that join us, everybody that gets on the chat, and Dennis and KB getting on the panel. Appreciate everybody's participation with everything. Paul, I see your question about the new Red Cap Marksman 2.2 crawler rig. I don't know much about it. I'm interested to check it out more. So maybe we can bring that up at another show. And, so I want to thank everybody, and my son's with me this weekend. He wants to say
bye.
And I'll let
Gabe,
I'll let you close us out.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I highly appreciate you hanging out with us this Saturday evening. Hopefully, you guys had fun. Hopefully, the conversation that we had, as far as talking about axial practice, anything that was probably related, or just the whole topic we had in general, hopefully that enlightened you, or that entertained you for these 2 hours that we've been going to. And yeah, man. So basically, this live stream is it's all fun. It's just for us just to come here, shoot the bull, just talk to you guys on chat and here in the panel. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it as well. And as JMHRC was saying, he actually asked me, if he can come out and help me, to come out, just do these live streams. And I'm very, very thankful, more than anything, that he actually stepped up to the plate and decided to give me his helping hand. And and I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, without JMHRC, trust me, there will be a lot of absences, for my behalf. I'll tell you that. Okay, so because of JMHRC, this show still continues. Okay, so also, if you're not subscribed to JMHRC, please subscribe, show him some support. And of course, he also has some great content. But yeah, I mean, my friend, I can't really thank you enough. I highly appreciate you. Helped me out with this just show in general, which is our show. It's not my show. It is our show.
Yep.
Okay. And yeah, so again, appreciate you guys just coming in every Saturday night. And yeah, so tune in next week. Next week we will have show and tell. Who would it be? That is the question. We will make it official once we're closer to the date. And I'll leave it at this. Okay, we'll ask the person. Once he confirms, we'll just go ahead and drop it in my community tab, and also JMHRC's Instagram. We will let you guys know who it is and tune in next Saturday. So we'll leave it at this. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next time.
Have a good one, everybody. Thank you.
Take it easy.